Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
This is my top 5 Impractical Jokers. Now, what does that mean? It's kind of an open-ended thing. I've been binging the Impractical Jokers like crazy this past week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. They are all on HBO Max. So I just kind of put them on, sometimes in the background, sometimes, but they're just so much fun to watch. So these are just 5 things that I love about the Impractical Jokers. It's pretty open-ended, so it's not specific episodes or seasons or characters or segments. It's all of it, all-encompassing. Top 5, my top 5 list for the Impractical Jokers TV show. Let's get it started, shall we? With number 5. The overall idea of the show, not pranks, but social engineering. The social engineering in the show is amazing. It's amazing what confidence can do as somebody that's worked a lot of the jobs that they kind of implement themselves into to do these pranks. Confidence is a big thing. Being nice, also the power of being nice. And not hesitating. I mean, it's just what these guys are able to do in general to pull off these pranks is amazing. Just it's so much fun to watch. Like just situations where you never would think they would be able to do it, but they find that right angle, they find that right way in, and they're able to, in a lot of instances, complete their tasks, their crazy tasks that they're required to do. So number 5 for me, the social engineering in the show. I know it's kind of a boring answer, boring number 5, but I think that considering that the entire show is social engineering for the sake of comedy, it's amazing. And I think it adds a layer of depth to just how easily people can bullshit through anything. And how willing people are to listen to somebody that sounds confident. So that's number 5, social engineering. Number 4 are the customer service segments. Like I said, I've worked a lot of the jobs that these guys do to kind of create the settings for their comedy, for the pranks. And customer service is, I mean, it's a tough job. But it's a job that I've also, while working these jobs, I've done a lot of these prank type things with my coworkers. Whether it's, a lot of it was like the Super Trooper type of pranks that they would do, like saying a word while you're helping somebody, or walking funny for a shift, or like just doing these different kind of challenges. That we would do for each other. It was a lot of fun. But the movie theater specifically, the times that they're working concession stand, it's hilarious. The whenever they're on the sales floor, I've definitely done that, been there, done that before. Really fun. Whenever they're working a counter at like a restaurant or whatever, not or like a food place, definitely done that. And then driving when they're pretending to be cab drivers or whatever, or driving service. All things that I've done, and it's cool to see. It's fun to see them do those things. It reminds me of those days when I used to work those jobs that I hated. But one of the funnest parts of those jobs were kind of goofing off with my coworkers, and it kind of brings back that nostalgia in a way. The few and far between good moments of working those kinds of jobs. So that's number 4, the customer service segments. Number 3 is a bit more specific. It's a specific moment in the show. It's an episode where they are interviewing people, and Murr is interviewing somebody, this woman, and it's a scene. It's a common thing with Murr, where he likes to flirt and hit on women a lot in the show, offering to take them on a date to watch Hamilton. And there is a scene, one of the segments, one of these scenes where he's interviewing this woman. They start to have like this this rapport. They start to hit it off, and then Q busts through the door and tells him that he's talking to an actress. So the scene where Murr finds out that he's mistakenly fallen in love with an actress who's just trying to play him up was one of the funniest things, because there's that moment when you're first flirting with somebody, and if you feel like you're vibing, you're on the same page. There's that kind of the excited butterflies of like, oh, we're gonna have dates and it's gonna be so much fun. It's like I can't believe like we're into this thing together. And for it to be a plant, which is another a thing that the show does a lot of, where they the hidden pranks within the pranks. The plants, the actresses and actors they get, whether it's Sal rubbing and lotion into people's feet, or customers coming in, or their parents coming in. There's a lot of hidden pranks within the pranks, and there's a lot of plants and actors and actresses, or even crew, that help with a lot of these pranks. But that one specifically, when Murr finds out that he's been flirting with and smitten with one of their actresses, is hilarious. So that's my number 3. Number 2 is when Sal is lost in the corn maze. His punishment, I don't remember what season or episode it was, but is early on, I believe, in the show. And anytime Sal is scared or disgusted, I mean, Sal is probably the most energetic. And I mean, when he's falling from laughing or puking from just the idea of like spit from Murr going into his mouth, anything's hilarious. But the corn maze one was amazing, because it would have been scary, and he knew he was going to be scared, and it was daytime. Is daytime, and his fear of cats is hilarious as well, which plays out in that one, where it's like he's supposed to follow a rope through this corn maze. There's like this random girl that just standing there, very creepy. There's a scarecrow that jumps out at him. And then once he gets to like the center of this maze, the rope that he was following ends up getting detached, and he is now stuck in the middle of the maze and has to find his way out. And that's when the giant cat, the cat in the cat suit, I forget the name of the cat, starts to chase him. And it's hilarious. It encompasses a lot of what I love watching Sal get punished. A lot of it's fear-based. And that one's just a classic one when he gets stuck in the corn maze. So that's number 2, Sal in the corn maze. And my number 1 pick for Impractical Jokers, the thing that affected me the most, is a punishment, a surprise punishment that happens with Q. And he's teaching art class, or offering an art class to moms and daughters. And one of the things they tell him to do is to draw an X, to paint an X on one person's painting. He refuses to do it. So they did an impromptu punishment, which is hilarious when they do that anyway, where he had to draw an X on everybody's painting. And as an artist myself, that would be like, to have somebody paint over any of my stuff would be horrible. Now, thankfully, I'm sure it was a free class. I'm sure they got all kinds of, I think they gave him like tons of art supplies and things like that. But yeah, that was like to know what he's going on in his head, and like how just horrible he feels for having to damage everybody's paintings. Which there's similar things. There's another one with Q where he's like a cake judge for judging these cake decorations, and he goes through and kind of destroys all the competitors, and then he ends up being a competitor, which is funny. But this one where he's got to draw the X on all the paintings, it broke me. It was like, it hurt me to the core. But yeah, that's by far my number 1, just because it's something that, like, as far as all of the things they had to do. I mean, there's the one where uh uh the dude was, I forget his name, I'm blanking on his name. the fourth Impractical Joker when he had to interview the biker club. That one was a bit scary as well. But this one, having to draw X's as a punishment for all of the on all of the paintings was just Joe Gatto when Joe had to interview the bike gang. But yeah, Q having to draw the X's is my number one. It was the thing in the show. It wasn't as funny, but it's one that affected me the most because not only was Q dying, but everybody, while they were in the back on the mics, everybody like regretted having him do that X challenge. And just the idea of them doing those impromptu challenges, or they'll do like trick ones where it'll be like a bait and switch challenges. Those are fun too. But yeah, that's my top 5 list of Impractical Jokers. These are the things that I really enjoy most about the show. Let's go over the list again. Number 5, the social engineering in the show is amazing. Number 4, all the customer service segments and how that brings me back to my days doing those, having to work those jobs. Number 3 is when Murr gets busted falling in love with an actress, a plant. Number 2 was when Sal gets his punishment is the corn maze and gets left out in the corn maze and chased by a giant cat. And the number 1 is when Q's punishment, impromptu punishment, was to draw an X on a classroom, every painting in a class of people learning to paint. So yeah, that's my top 5 Impractical Jokers. Let me know what your top 5 things about Impractical Jokers are in the comments. Let me know how if you like my list, if you don't like my list, let me know what you would change in the comments, or hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. You know where to find me. But yeah, I love Impractical Jokers. Make sure you check it out. It's on True TV or HBO Max. Go get yourself some new cell phone service with $25 in credit when you sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/ting. Ting is amazing cell phone service where you only pay for what you use. Super low prices. Bring over your phone or buy a phone through them. But get yourself $25 in credit when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/ting. It's the same best coverage, same low rates, now with 3 coast-to-coast networks. inspireddisorder.com/ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.